everyone, welcome to my review of the Skymax Pulsar with an Atom 80 engine on it and a 125 Vitarazi prop. So let's just dive into what really makes this unique. You're looking at it right now, there's no fuel tank. So where is that fuel line going? It is going into that dudek harness on the bottom, which holds a fuel bladder, which can hold 8 liters of fuel. It's a very unique system. It can make refueling very interesting and easy to spill because you can't really tell how much fuel is in there. So as you're filling this paramotor, you have to lean it up against something because you're about to see that the fill port is kind of level with the ground, if not angled downwards a little bit. So if you were to just fill that up, you wouldn't be able to get it full. So I tend to lean this paramotor up against my van, just kind of roll it along the hoop. But I put a rag on there just in case it'll spit a little fuel back when it gets full, as you can see right there. Now you can look at the bladder if you just unzip the bottom of the seat, pull it out. I don't know how many liters I have in here right now, just a couple maybe. But you can see the spring in there and the fuel filter, and I think that spring is just to keep the bladder from collapsing on itself. So the next really unique thing about this is the kickstand. So every time you pick this unit up, that kickstand is going to become flush on the back side right there. So that makes it a little easier to walk around when you have a fuel bladder in the bottom of the seat. You just don't want to forget when you set this paramotor down that you have a kickstand, or else it'll tip over. So you got to put it down like a moped and kind of push it back. And then that wire right there will keep it from going too far, and it's kind of spring loaded. So the next thing that's cool about this paramotor is the dudek seat in general. I think it's the power seat light, but I really like this seat. It's comfortable and it has some really cool features in general, not just proprietary to Skymax. Like this one right here, the shoulder straps go through a grommet and lead to the bottom of the harness, and I really like that feature because you no longer have shoulder straps going around the reserve. And this is just kind of showing how the bridle is routed. Pretty standard across all their frames. You can see where it hooks in. Just a little Velcro covering the carabiners on the inside, and the same thing on the other side as well. Very comfortable seat. Here's where you put the speed bar. It's magnetized, which I like. Nice and simple. And the carabiners and their backup straps coming on down. Nice strong straps, but lightweight. And then here is the waist strap. And these are where the shoulder straps connect to. And pretty standard reserve going on right there. I like Dudek's reserve pouches. They're really easy to put a reserve inside of. It's not too complex, fits nice. And then let's move on to the other very unique feature about this paramotor, which is the swing arms and how you can adjust weight shift. You simply pull that in, move some bearings, and you can move it back and forth. There's 4 notches on here. And I kind of like how it looks like a gunmetal rifle, kind of black on there that it slides across. And it's really easy to adjust. You could adjust them wide if you're a bigger person, or you kind of mess around with the weight shift. Put one off to one side, one off to the other. But you got to remember this is just an Atom 80 engine, so there's not too much torque you got to compensate for. So there's not much like one swing arm has to be way off to the other side with the Atom 80. But of course, this Pulsar does allow for a Moster 185, so that could come in handy actually. But I really like that design. And of course, the engine. What engine is on this Pulsar? It is the Atom 80, and it helps me keep this very lightweight. This is a 41.5 pound motor dry. That is super light. And you can thank the structure of the Pulsar and the Atom 80 for that. But it's all the power I need. I'm flying around on a 20 meter gen Falcon, and I weigh 165 pounds. Gets me off the ground just fine and climbs to altitude here in the mountains just fine. I think this is just a great beach motor, great for people who want a lightweight motor, people who can't put a whole bunch of weight on their back. It's really kind of the perfect motor for that. And then another cool thing is this throttle right here. This is the Iris throttle made by Dimitri and West Coast Paramotor. It has a little cruise control on it, as you saw me tighten it there and loosen it, and now it's back to idle. So it's a nice little feature. Very simple throttle. I am a huge fan of simple throttle, so I like the Iris throttle. And last but not least, we have the pull start. It's always important to me that the pull start is mounted nice and high. It makes for an easier start, and they have indeed done that on this frame. Thank you all for joining me in this review. If you have any more questions, leave them down in the comments. Have a good one.